I want to put my 2 cents in about this whole Spider-Man debacle that's going on right now. If you don't know, which you probably do, Sony and Disney are fighting over Spider-Man. Sony took Spider-Man out of the MCU, basically, is what happened, because Disney wanted like half of the profits from the whole franchise. Disney being the company that it is in 2019, that really doesn't surprise me at all. I have problems with both companies, and we'll get into that. I really wish I had more positive news right now. I wish I could be saying Spider-Man's taking his rightful place at the head of the MCU. And on a second note, Sony's bringing Tobey Maguire back to play Spider-Man in their new live-action Spider-Verse. It's going to be amazing. I can't wait. I can't wait to see this. Let's talk about... No. We can't, we can't have any good news. Some people are happy about this, that somebody finally stood up to Disney and just said, no, we're going to go do our own thing. It's all about the greed at this point. Greed tears franchises apart. These big companies take over these franchises and buy the rights to these characters, and they put their agendas in there. Like we always talk about Star Wars. They don't really care if it goes to shit or not, but we do. The fans do. I was one of the few that actually voiced my distaste for Sony keeping Spider-Man on the PS4. I'm an Xbox man. I mean, I would buy a PS4 if I could afford it, right? Fans of these franchises just aren't going to go out and buy a freaking brand new PS4 just to play one game. Maybe a lot of people did that. But then I get the argument online, well, it's their franchise. They can do whatever they want with it. They paid for it, blah, blah, blah. It's the fans, it's the people that keep Spider-Man alive, that kept him alive all these years. Spider-Man belongs to the fans, not legally, but as you can see from this article, we have this article just came out, a Variety article, Inside the Spider-Man Split, Finger Pointing and Executive Endgames. It just seemed really complicated, all this stuff, and we really don't know exactly what's going on behind the scenes. On Wednesday, Sony confirmed reports that the producing deal between the company and Disney employee and Marvel chief Kevin Feige would end. That leaves the franchise without Feige's guidance and effectively removes Spider-Man from the MCU. Less than 24 hours after Sony's Tuesday announcement that the latest standalone Spider-Man film, Far From Home, had become the highest-grossing film in the studio's 90-year history, news broke that the collaboration was over. The reports were conveniently timed. That's true. I actually just went to see Spider-Man Far From Home. It was, it was a fun movie. I really liked Mysterio in it. Jake Gyllenhaal did a great job as Mysterio. It was a very interesting character. And I'm not going to give any spoilers if you haven't seen it yet, but at the end, there's like a huge freaking cliffhanger. It's incredible. It's incredible how the story is left at a stage like that, and then they just say, oh, you know what? Never mind. It's cool. It's just kind of like, oh, it's so frustrating. Really, what Marvel was doing with Spider-Man, it seemed like in that whole movie, it was about like him taking over from Tony Stark, him being the next Iron Man, which doesn't really make sense because he's Spider-Man, but you know what I mean? Like, taking over that leadership role, which I think that's where most of the fans wanted it to go, to Spider-Man, because Spider-Man is like the Superman of Marvel, right? I did enjoy the movies. Spider-Man was one of the characters in Phase 4 that I was actually, I would go see their movies. All the rest of these movies and Marvel Phase 4 just don't really interest me at all. It was already going downhill, and now that Spider-Man's gone, it's kind of, you could probably say it's dead. Unless this is just a power play, art of the deal. Walk away from the table if you don't like the deal, which they can do. But most of these articles are saying that it's pretty much done. Sony just wants to have Spidey all to themselves, which I've also seen people saying maybe it's a good thing because the MCU is going down a kind of a strange path, if you know what I mean. Kind of a... everything's flipping upside down. Thor's going to be a woman. A lot of people don't like Captain Marvel, but she's going to be in charge of the MCU now. But after seeing Far From Home, I kind of thought that it might have gone the other way. It might have been Spider-Man was the next Iron Man. Sony had been in negotiations to keep Feige in the fold as a consulting producer, but Disney, who just this year swallowed 20th Century Fox and all of its Marvel characters with it, left the table after Sony refused to increase its share of the profits. Some reports said that Disney was looking to essentially become a 50-50 partner. That's a big deal there. I think Disney might have been, probably was slowly just creeping up on it and just was gonna eventually swallow Spider-Man whole. Another insider close to the deal said negotiations came up for renewal as long as 6 months ago, and Sony did not move to act on a new pact, so they didn't even come back with a counteroffer. Dude, if you're Tom Holland right now, I bet he's just like, oh man, damn, I was supposed to be the next Iron Man, Mrs. Stark. But I mean, he still has 2 movies to go in his contract. We'll see how that is. Maybe they'll introduce Venom to that storyline. So that's kind of cool, I guess. To say Feige is essential to the future success and profitability of the Walt Disney Company is an understatement. He is an asset that Disney has become unwilling to share with a rival studio, even at the expense of millions of moviegoers who prize Spider-Man as a member of the MCU. Trending topics like hashtag Save Spider-Man from Sony overtook Twitter. Here's an interesting one. Marvel founder Stan Lee's daughter, JC Lee, backed Sony, saying her father's creations need multiple points of view, going as far as to say no one treated my father worse than Marvel and Disney executives. Rothman is known as a hard-driving negotiator, and some individuals who have worked with him in the past privately suggested the public breakup may be a tactic to try to get Disney to make concessions. So they're just going to try to mimic the success that Far From Home had. I liked Into the Spider-Verse. I thought it was kind of a neat storyline. They're kind of doing the whole Marvel thing too. It looks like they're going to have to bring back Iron Man or somebody that actually made them money here. I think they're going to find out real soon that their profits are going to take a hit in the theaters. It doesn't matter how much the media says it. People aren't interested in in the direction that the MCU is going right now. So, what do you think about that? Which side are you on? The Sony versus Disney, which side are you on? I'm not really partial to either of them at this point. They're just like screwing up storylines. What's gonna happen to Spider-Man at this point in the MCU? Are they just gonna mention him in the future and just be like, oh, he's gone, he's off world, he's whatever, he's in hiding? What's gonna happen with Spider-Man? Are they gonna bring back Tobey Maguire for Spider-Man 4? The question of the century. Thanks for watching. See you next time.